What's going on? It's your boy Sheev, the Wise. Welcome back to Vader's Lair. I hope you guys are having a fantastic Andor Tuesday. It's time to get into our Andor episode 10 preview. Check out what we think is going to happen in the episode, talk about it a little bit, and what we could see in the rest of the season. We're probably going to touch on season 2 as well, because we talked about it yesterday. Tony Gilroy is talking about it, and the fact that we could see some special planets. So let's get back into it. Let's do it. Welcome. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe on your way in. Good to see everybody in the chat. And Tim, I promise you, you owe me $5 because it wasn't coffee. It was food though. It was food related. Hope you guys are doing well though. Good to see everybody in the chat. Talented Mr. Griffin, good to see you, my friend. Tim, of course, the GOAT. Kylie, good to see you as well. Dawn, Dale, everybody in the chat is good to see you guys. Let's talk about Andor episode 10. So we watched a little clip for kind of just the story of Cassian Andor on the Star Wars YouTube channel yesterday. And it gave us a little brief look into what we could see tonight. And obviously we're all expecting there to be the prison break, the Andor prison break. He's gonna get out, right? So all of last episode was really building up to Andy Serkis's character kind of really buying into the prison break. And I love the way that they've done this show, having the arcs kind of build up and have these climactic finishes after like 3 episodes. Because it's been such, like, those episodes that they build up to have such a climactic bang to them. You know what I mean? It's so it hits so much harder having those 2 episodes of build up, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? So now, getting this build up for this episode, I'm expecting a big one. And something that I don't think a lot of fans are kind of expecting maybe is a little bit of a parallel maybe between Mon Mothma and Andor in this episode that I think we could potentially get. I don't know if it's going to happen exactly this episode for Mon Mothma, but in the same way that Andor is trying to escape the Imperial prison that he's in, Mon Mothma might have to eventually end up escaping her own Imperial prison, if you will. It's kind of a prison that she's built herself, but it's in a way she's used it to help fight against the Empire. And I think, you know, her fight is going to have to she's going to have to dive full force into that fight and really have to choose that side. And whether something happens to her family, something happens to just the rest of the Empire that makes, you know, someone catches on to her, because we know people are potentially spying on her. Something's going to go down, I think, whether it's this episode or the next arc potentially, where Mon Mothma is going to have to escape as well and potentially go on that Rebels arc that she does, where she, you know, goes off with the Ghost Crew and gives out a message of hope and rebellion against the Empire. But what are you guys expecting for this episode? I think another thing I've been saying a lot that we could see, that we could potentially see, you know, with that whole Mon Mothma thing, maybe Mas Amedda, Palpatine? Probably not. Maybe Mas Amedda, to be honest, in tonight's episode, or whenever that kind of shift happens with Mon Mothma. I think when she starts to get figured out, we'll start to see characters kind of pop up like that, whether it is Mas Amedda or, you know, Palpatine himself. You know what I mean? Small says, at dinner, we'll join y'all soon. Hey, that's what I was doing. No worries, my friend. Good to see you in the chat. Talented Mr. Griffin says, I didn't realize that Genevieve O'Reilly played Mon Mothma in Rogue One. Yes, she did. She did a great job in Rogue One, and she has almost a very different look to her. It looks almost more like the Mon Mothma that we see in A New Hope, which I think is very well done. And I think she's going to go through a lot of stress over the next couple of years transitioning to that, because it is only 5 years away. So we're going to probably see all of that stress on Mon Mothma's shoulder throughout the rest of Andor, and how she kind of looks even a little different. But another cool thing is that Genevieve O'Reilly actually was Mon Mothma in the deleted Revenge of the Sith scenes. There were some scenes with Padme and with what's his name? Gosh, why am I forgetting it? He could pop up in this too. What's his name? The senator guy. Why am I blanking? Oh no. Leia's dad, whatever his name. Oh, I don't know why I can't think of his name right now. Bail. Thank you for bailing me out on that one. But no, I think Bail could show up in this episode as well. And there were some deleted scenes with Bail and Mon Mothma, and Genevieve O'Reilly was in those as well. And that's kind of why they brought her back for Rogue One and now for Andor as well. And she's done a great job, man. Genevieve O'Reilly has probably been one of the best actresses in this show in general. Her and Andy Serkis, I think, are stealing the show in the scenes that they're in, as well as Stellan Skarsgård's Luthen. I think Luthen Rael has been a crazy character, man. I can't wait to see more of him tonight. Emotional Evolution. Thank you for bailing me out as well. Talented Mr. Griffin says she's been killing it. Dude, she has been doing it. You know what I mean? Just straight savagery with her character. She's great. Especially this last episode. I'm kind of hoping that her daughter kind of leans more to her side as she grows older. I think Star Wars Meg was talking about it, and it seems like in some of the canon stuff, she maybe goes, I don't know. We'll see what happens with Mon Mothma and her family, but hopefully her daughter kind of joins the rebellion alongside her and her aunt as well, which I thought was crazy. I thought, it was pretty wild to see that the aunt of her is the same character that we see in the Aldhani heist, and that's actually Mon Mothma's sister. I'm terrible with names, man. Dawn says, welcome. Oh, welcome indeed. Good to see everybody in the chat. Of course. Yo, what up, dude? Trust me, bro. Good to see you, Rello. Good to see you, Rello. Gotta say it 2 times. Emotional says, Vel, thank you. Yeah, the fact that Vel is the sister of Mon Mothma was kind of mind-blowing last episode. I honestly thought that Vel would maybe be connected to Luthen. Maybe they both are. Who knows? Maybe Luthen is even their dad or something. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Maybe he is, though. Cousin. Okay, my bad. She's the cousin. She called her aunt. That's what threw me off. The daughter calls her aunt in episode 9, and then she's obviously the cousin. Vel is the cousin. Thank you, guys. That threw me off, though. I'm gonna be honest. Much love, Tim. I hope you're doing well too, Goat. Much love to you, my friend. You guys are on top of me today. Thank you for this. That pause, first of all, but you guys are definitely. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out in the chat. Cousin, actually. Emotional Evolution says, I thought he might be related to Mon too. I definitely think a lot of people thought that. It seems, Star Wars is a family show. It's a family movie show, whatever. It's a family product. And it seems that they're kind of continuing that tradition with Andor looking for his sister. Obviously, his mom told him, forget that. Don't look for your sister anymore. It's going to only be a lost cause. Well, speaking of Luthen, I think his assistant could be Andor's sister. Whether we find that out soon or not, I think that's going to pop up at some point. What's going on with his sister again? Because I don't think it was just thrown in to have Andor forget about it. You know what I mean? I think that's going to be a plot line that continues down the line. Darth Chaos, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, Moth Mommy is absolutely the best, Tim. I don't know if I ever quite had an appreciation for Moth Mommy like I did after watching Rebels, and then even more so after seeing Andor now. I always kind of thought, she's in the background. She ain't really doing nothing. She's a beast. Mon Mommy is a beast. Luthen is a bit ruthless. He's a bit ruthless and reckless, but he's a smart dude, it seems like. He's pretty wild. He definitely has that Saw Gerrera streak in him, and I love that the two of them had scenes together, and probably will have more. It's pretty dope. Seeing kind of the early rebellion and kind of what it looks like during this time period, 5 years before A New Hope, before Rogue One, obviously. So it's cool to see all of this, and how it kind of builds itself to leading to what we see in Rebels and what we see going forward. It's pretty wild. Moth fire. It'd be cool if that's his sis. I definitely think it probably is, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's get into it though with the prison. Who you guys think is gonna die? Obviously, Milch is probably gonna survive, and he's obviously gonna survive. We see him in Rogue One actually. But do you guys think Andy Serkis's character will survive? Let me know down in the chat. We can even open up a poll. But before we do another poll, I asked you guys, how excited are you for episode 10 of Andor on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 is really no hype, so that's kind of what we put in the chat. 6% of you guys apparently. Sad souls, you got no hype for Andor. That's okay. We'll try to build that hype for you, and I hope the end of the season really gives you that hype. 11% of you both said 5 through 7 or 8 through 9. So a little bit of hype for you guys. 8 through 9, that's a good amount of hype. 5 to 7, you're still a little excited. You got some butterflies maybe. But of course, 72% of you guys are hype. Hell yeah. Kino is a done deal, says talented Mr. Griffin. I'm thinking so too. Yeah, Andy Serkis's character Kino is probably a done deal. Let's ask the chat though, what is you guys thinking? Would be fitting, says Darth Chaos. Kylie says, I hope so. Oh no, she says do it. How many guys are with Kylie? Do you think, do it to Luthen, or not Luthen, do it to Kino's character? Is he gonna die? We got one from talented Mr. Griffin. Alan Copeland, what up my friend? Hope you're doing well with the hype. Sup Darth Main, and yeah, it'd be cool if Snoke survives. Says dude, trust me bro. I was gonna say that too. That was gonna be my next question. So if you guys don't think that Kino makes it out alive, is he gonna become Snoke? It is Andy Serkis. Come on, is it gonna be Snoke? Dawn says that's what I heard. What? He's gonna be Snoke? Or that he's gonna die? Oh my goodness, don't spoil things, please. If that's a spoiler, that would be terrible. Nah. He is a great actor though. He's fantastic. Dude, Andy Serkis's performance last episode almost deserves like Oscar worthy level nomination. You know what I mean? Like it was good. Please no Snoke. No, I don't think they'll actually do that, but that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious. They're just like, this guy's a perfect specimen. We should bring him to Palpatine. Good. Andy Serkis. Let me use him for my snookery. Either that or he's gonna barely make it out. I honestly, so my personal opinion, I think Kino is gonna get the yeek. He's gonna die, probably. We'll see. But I think a lot of the prisoners are probably gonna die. It's gonna take probably all 7 levels, all 7, rooms of every 7th level. It's gonna take every single one of these prisoners to try and get out of there. And I don't even know how they're gonna escape the planet. Like, that's the crazy thing to me. Obviously, there's 12 guards, never more than 12 guards on each floor, as we found out last episode. But, seven guards on each floor, or 12 guards on each floor, 7 floors. That's a lot of guards. I mean, there's even more prisoners, but who's gonna pick them up? Is Luthen gonna show up, save the day, be like, let's go Andor? I don't know. Tim says, I wonder if Andor is gonna be able to gonna be an awards contender winning show. Winning some stuff could end up giving it a nice boost. I definitely agree, and I honestly think it should be. It should be. Visually, it's been one of the best looking Star Wars shows so far, in my opinion. Story-wise, it's easily one of the best stories currently, I think, on air, in my opinion. Definitely one of the best spy thrillers I've ever seen. They just need one guy with those boots. Yeah, to be honest, just Andor was looking at those boots when he gets into the prison. It's like, You just need the boots, man. You just need the boots and you'll be fine. You could see the emotion in his face. Circus is the GOAT. You said it, talented Mr. Griffin. You said it. He's a talented Mr. Circus. You know what I mean? Kylie says not to mention the floor too. Yeah. So the floor is definitely something that they have to contend with, and they'll definitely need those boots. And there's not enough boots for all of them. Could you imagine? I mean, obviously, maybe there are some spoilers in the chat, but can you imagine if, like, you know, only 12 of those dudes get boots and the rest of them get fried? And because Andor was paying attention to where it was, he obviously would survive. I don't know. That'd be freaking wild to see. We already know level 2 got fried. Yeesh. Never more than 12 pairs of boots, though, maybe. That's what I'm thinking too, Dale. That's what I'm thinking too. Tim says, bro, Andy Serkis being in this is so random, but really cool. You said it, man. It is very, very random, and I love it. I love it. He's a great actor, man. I love all the, like, characters. He's played some wild characters when you think about it. He's been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's been in Star Wars, Planet of the Apes. The dude's done some amazing stuff. He's Schmeagol, too, isn't he? I mean, the dude is awesome. We know he's very observant as well. Yeah, we definitely know Andor is probably the most observant dude in the prison, but yeah, he's definitely noticed a few things that others probably have not. Intake was trash, so he was scouting his exit from day one. Yeah. Tim says, yeah, I'm used to seeing some CGI character. Right? All of Andy Serkis's characters are usually like CGI dudes, except for, you know, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he wasn't. But then, even in Star Wars, he's Snoke, and then now we get the live action Andy. He's been in the Batman too. Who was he in the Batman? I forgot about. He's Alfred. That's right. Dude, Andy Serkis, what a guy. Schmeagol. Oh, gotta love Schmeagol. My precious. That's what Palpatine says, you know, the galaxy. My precious. Good. Anakin. My precious. I'm dead. So, with this episode, though, I'm pretty sure Andor is going to escape prison. And I don't know if it's going to happen exactly in tonight's episode, but I feel like it was definitely set up last episode that he's probably going to go back to Ferrix. And I wouldn't doubt if at the end of this episode, he escapes prison finally, has a bunch of these dudes die right in front of him, or, you know, in the process of escaping. Luthen maybe even picks him up, or somebody, you know, gets him. And he goes back to Ferrix, to having the ISB, Deidre, even Cyril, even having Cyril there waiting for him. All of these people, I think. Maybe it's not going to happen in this arc, but I think that might end up happening within the next arc or two. And stuff is going to go down whenever the Ferrix stuff happens. But that is definitely what I'm thinking could be ended up happening. There was a lot of talk last episode of Salman Pak, I think, too, which the Empire said they were going to hang him. I wouldn't doubt if we see Salman Pak hanged, and, you know, Bix has to see that and everything. Andor comes back right as that all kind of goes down, and his mom probably wouldn't make it out either. I definitely forgot that Serkis was Alfred. That's funny. He was a pretty good Alfred, too, to be honest. I don't know if he was the Dark Knight Alfred. I don't remember that guy's name, but Dark Knight is probably my favorite Batman. That dude's a G. I love the Dark Knight Alfred. Hey, what up, Don Basham? Good to see you in the chat. That's wild, man. Andy Serkis has been everything. What else are we thinking about for episode 2, though? You guys got any predictions or any questions that you want to put in the chat? Feel free. Heck, if you want to put into a super, feel free to either save it for our watch party. This can be later tonight around 11:30, or even just later. I don't know. We'll see. Speaking of, though, definitely be there for our watch party. 11:30, like I said, for episode 10 of Star Wars Andor. And then we're also going to be doing, before that, little hype for Andor. Tonight is also the release of God of War Ragnarok. Yes, let's go! Dude, I'm freaking hyped for that game. I'm a big fan of the first God of War. I was playing a little bit last night on my second channel, Achieve the Wise on YouTube. Go find it. Dude, Ragnarok's gonna be great. I can't wait to play that with you guys. We're probably gonna go for a little bit before the episode drops later tonight, but I'm excited for it, man. It's gonna be dope time. B Grissom, it's good to see you, my man. Hope you're doing well. He says, what's good, y'all? I have about 8 episodes to watch. Do it. Dude, Andor's been a freaking blast so far. Through 9 episodes, the show has really gone out of its way to kind of not be Star Wars in the most Star Wars way, if that makes any sense to you, those of you guys that have seen it with me. I don't know, man. Andor has definitely done some out there stuff when it comes to Star Wars. Not what we kind of would typically expect. And it's really taken that spy thriller and gone full force with it. I love it, man. I love Andor so far. B Grissom, you definitely got to watch those 8 episodes and catch up, man. It's good to see you too. Andre, it's good to see you in the chat. He says Andor season 2 2023 or 2024. Good question. So Andor season 2, we'll get into this discussion a little bit. Andor season 2, Tony Gilroy was talking about it recently, kind of teasing out the directors that are going to be a part of it, all of this stuff. And we've actually heard that Andor season 2 is going to start filming at the end of this month, or within the next month, realistically. So probably by the end of November, Andor season 2 starts shooting. I wouldn't doubt if it shoots through probably December, January, maybe even closer to February timeframe. As it is 12 episodes after all. They could be shooting for quite a while out there. So I definitely think by the beginning of the next year, it's going to be, they're going to be done with shooting, and principal photography is going to be done and all that. Probably 2024, to be honest. I don't know. Probably 2023, just because they already have done some stuff. I think it was supposed to be 2023, if I'm not mistaken, but obviously there's no confirmation. Maybe we'll get a confirmation on when season 2 is coming. But the fact that they are going to be in shooting soon while the show is still, first season is still airing. We have a lot of projects coming next year as it is, to kind of feed our plates, you know what I mean? Fill our plates until we get Andor season 2. It's funny. I didn't expect people to be like, when's Andor season 2 coming out? But here we are, and I think a lot of the fandom has been pretty freaking happy with Andor so far. So awesome to see the questions of Andor season 2. But yeah, I do think it probably will be end of 2023, most likely 2024. B Grissom says, I'm gonna catch up and I'll be back. These dang grave shifts are killing me, dude. It's rough out there in the streets. I hope you get some rest at some point too. Tim says, always good to see you, Grissom. Facts. What else are we saying in the chat? Yeah, because Ahsoka's late 2023. That's what I was thinking too. It would be hard to have the 12 episode Andor show and also air Ahsoka. That's kind of 2 of their big bag kind of projects, if you will. I don't think that they'll air them simultaneously. So probably 2024 for Andor season 2. It's okay. We're already at the end of 2022. It's not like 2023 is far away. Andor spring 2024. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. That would make a lot of sense. Andre says, would love to watch you on a stream with fans who say Andor is not Star Wars. I would love to do that. Bring it on. Lost a bet against Sheev. Now I'm broke. Whew. All $5. I saw it. Dang it. Where'd it go? Let me it didn't pop up on my StreamYard or Streamlabs. But let me go back and read that, Tim. I'm sorry about that. Tim sent a €5 super chat earlier. Says, hope the food was good though. It was delicious. Pops made this like steak casserole thing. I don't know. It was pretty good. It's pretty good. Shout out to Pops. You know what I mean? Emotional Evolution says, B. Grissom says, likewise, Tim. Much love to the GOAT. Hey, that's what's up. Glad your food was good, Smalls. Much love, brother. All right, let's get back into the discussion of episode 10 tonight, because I think there's a few more topics that we could touch on. What's going to happen with Luthen? You know, that discussion there at the end of the episode with him talking to Saw Gerrera, going to Saw and Saw being like, you got any weapons for me? You know, you're trying to help me out here. And Luthen's like, at a cost, you know, if you help me. And Saw was not willing to do it. He said, hell no. So what's Luthen going to do now? You know, Andor's out there too. I think it's possible Luthen could be the dude that saves Andor if he finds out that he got into that prison. And I don't know how he's going to find out, but Luthen has his ways, it seems like. The dude's a mad genius and a threat to everybody. Talented Mr. Griffin says, will Luthen get discovered before season's end? There's 3 characters I'm curious as hell about where their story is going to be going by the end of the season. Luthen is one of them, and the other 2 are Deidre Moreau, the ISB agent, and Cyril Karn. I think their 2 stories are going to intertwine here, and I honestly thought Deidre and Cyril would probably meet their ends at the end of the season, but I do think Luthen will most likely meet his end by the end of season 1. We know he's not really around, in at least that we know of, during A New Hope and all of that stuff. Maybe that's just because he is the shadowy dude he is, hiding from behind the walls, but I do think ISB is going to catch up to him. Deidre might catch up to him. I wouldn't even doubt if by the end of season 1 we get something that ends up like a calamity that happens that ends up being the end of Deidre, Cyril, and Luthen's stories, you know, all together. And, you know, maybe Andor's the dude that walks out of it. Deidre will be back in season 2. Ooh, all right. I did not know that. I've been kind of staying away from any kind of season 2 stuff, but I did hear that we could be getting Yavin 4 in season 2, which makes me wonder what's going to be happening here at the end of season 1, leading into Yavin 4, which is almost why I'm speculating all this Mon Mothma talk. You know, Mon Mothma. I think with Yavin 4 being in season 2, whether it is further in the season, I do think at some point we're going to see Mon Mothma kind of develop the rebellion as we know it. You know, maybe even finding Yavin 4 as a base. There's a lot of cool stuff I think they could do with that. Karn on the cob. Cyril Karn on the cob. Cyril Karn on the cob. Andre says, I'm loving Deidre so much that I would love to watch her being a Moff Gideon ally in Mando. Whoa, that would be kind of cool. That would be really kind of cool. Interesting thought there. She would be a lot older in Mando because it is about, let's see, about 15 or so years ish, 10-ish years, 10 to 15 years. So I don't know. She would be a bit older. Deidre could definitely be around at the end of the Empire though, if she does survive the entire series. I don't think she will make it out of Andor season 2, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know, man. Tim says, makes sense. Yavin was in Rogue One too, no? Yavin was heavily in Rogue One. Rogue One has a lot of really cool planets and different things that they gave us a little peek into. And Yavin 4 was actually one of the coolest additions in Rogue One. Not that we haven't obviously seen Yavin 4 in A New Hope, the very first Star Wars movie, you know what I mean? But we really got a bigger look at what the Yavin 4 base was like in Rogue One. And it would be cool to see that even further developed here in Andor, or, you know, in Andor Season 2. Where was I? Dawn says, Luthen was trying to get Saw to meet with the dude whose pilot got caught, Dr. Gorst. Ah, okay. And then sent to drift in the shipping lanes. Okay, interesting. Don Basham says, my bad, let me scroll up. I think Mon is going to get seen talking to someone that is being watched by the Emperor and his goons. Me too. I definitely think that she's being spied on, and something's gonna happen where, you know, those dudes are gonna catch up to her, or, you know, catch on to her and what she's really doing. Especially with the end of last episodes, with her kind of lover dude. See, I'm terrible with names. The guy from the same planet as her, Cinderella, that she was, you know, friends with when she was younger, he's been funding money to her, and it sounded like at the end of last episode they were probably catching on to him. You know, Mon Mothma's so secretive that he didn't even know that she was as against the Empire as she is. You know what I mean? And now he isn't really on that level, as the same level as her. Like, as much as he hates the Empire too, and like he's willing to do this with her and everything, he doesn't know all the ways to get around the Empire the way that Mon Mothma does, and it seems like they're catching on to him, which is going to lead to Mon Mothma. He's probably going to pay the price, which maybe we'll see that unfold in this episode. But I think it's going to lead to Mon Mothma eventually having to get the heck out of Dodge. You know what I mean? Great point, though, Dawn. Dale says Dantooine would be real cool. It definitely would be. First half should be Dantooine, so Smalls. Yeah, I'm down with some Dantooine. Deidre is pretty good character. She is. Even the actress was talking about how you kind of root for her in the beginning of the show. And then, you know, when she's going up against that other ISB agent that's kind of contending against her, you see everybody in the Empire is just kind of willing to tear each other down to get to the top and be the best, you know, be the Emperor. But that's kind of the way that Palpatine wanted. It's like a power grab. And you see her in the beginning with all these kind of idiot ISB dudes around her, and she's the only one that has like the common sense of what the heck's going on with the rebellion and the rebels and different things. And she's definitely catching on way faster than the rest of the ISB agents. But someone also had this theory that the dude that was kind of contesting her, that we see kind of, he's in charge of the Ferric system and all this other space that, you know, eventually she becomes in charge of. What if that dude was a rebel, and the reason he seems so incompetent and so, like, you know, against Deidre is because he's an undercover rebel that's working for the ISB, like we see with so many other people working for the Empire, or, you know, with the Empire at some point throughout this show and throughout other shows and Star Wars mediums as well. Yes, the banker take Holma. Thank you, Dale. Hounds, what up? When is episode 10 releasing? In 6 hours, says Ashton. Yes, it is coming out in about 6 hours precisely. It usually comes out about 10 minutes early. It should come out around 12 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, depending on your time zone. Of course, you know, make sure to sync that up. But it should come out in about 6 hours. I said Deidre and Gideon, but imagine Deidre and Thrawn. What an evil smart combo. Indeed, Andre. I would love that. I'm a Thrawn simp myself. Love me some blue dude. You know. No, but for real though, I love Thrawn, and honestly, Deidre, the way that she's kind of navigated her way through the ISB, even kind of shown up a couple other higher ISB members and everything, like, it seems like she kind of has that Thrawn in her. So I love that you said that, man. I've definitely been getting those same kind of vibes. I've been really hoping Thrawn could show up in this show. And if he doesn't show up in season 1, and, you know, we'll see what happens with Deidre. I don't know. Maybe a Deidre Thrawn scene could end up, you know, coming to fruition in season 2. That'd be really dope. Really dope. Mon is going to throw Take Homa under the bantha. Oh no. It was him. Tim says season 2 would be after Ahsoka, so fingers crossed. That definitely is true. Maybe they're going to show Ahsoka is going to bring us Thrawn for the first time in live action, and then we see him in season 2 of Andor as well. That would make a lot of sense, actually. I was kind of hoping at one point that we would see Thrawn in season 1, And I don't really think we will at this point. I don't think we will at this point, and that's okay, because we could see him in season 2, especially now that Tim reminded me Ahsoka's gonna come first. So good. Dale says yes, because Thrawn disappears from Lothal for a bit before the end of season 4 of Rebels. Actually, Dale, he does disappear for a bit, and that story is actually filled out in the 3rd book of the Thrawn trilogy, the canon Thrawn trilogy, that is, titled Thrawn Treason. He's actually pulled away from what's going on Lothal and with the Rebels, because there's a problem with the shipments of the Death Star. And guess who's running the operation of the Death Star? You guessed it. Yours and mine's favorite from Rogue One. Here's another name I can't remember. Of course. I'm everywhere with the names today. Sad life. We stand here amidst my achievement, not yours. I can't remember his name. No, Krennic. Thank you, Darth Maximus. I'm the worst today with names. No, Tarkin ends up taking the credit for the Death Star, but Krennic is really behind it at this point. And the reason that Thrawn gets pulled away is because Krennic is... Krennic. See what's happening with names now? Krennic is having problems with these shipments during the Thrawn Treason book, where basically shipments of the Death Stars is getting taken and eaten and basically stolen by these creatures called the Grolix. And they're, so basically the Grolix come, they're having this problem with they can't get their shipments off the planet to get to Scarif, where the Death Star is being built at the time. And and that's what kind of happens is Thrawn gets pulled away from Lothal to go figure out the Grolix problem for the Death Star program, because the Death Star program, if the Grolix problem is not resolved, basically is going to have all the funding taken, so that Thrawn's TIE Defender program, which we see in Star Wars Rebels, basically would be obsolete. It wouldn't be in place anymore. All of their funding would go towards the Death Star, and Thrawn's project would get kicked from the side. So that's kind of what's going down during the little stint where Thrawn disappears in Rebels. But I don't know, maybe there's some stories earlier on, before we even see him reach the rebellion, the Rebels crew that we see in Star Wars Rebels, that could fit into this Andor story. Smalls. Andre says, in an EW interview, Favreau said was singing his praises on Andor. Don't be surprised if we see a connection in future Mandoverse projects. I would not be surprised at all. I don't know who or what kind of characters they would take from it, but I do think that season 2 of Andor could have the Star Wars Rebels crew in it. Even there's some stories in Rebels that I think weren't fully told, as there's a lot of time gaps and different things that happen. They obviously even go to Yavin 4 at the end of Rebels, or at least we see, in Rogue One, there's a lot of the Rebels crew that pops up, or General Syndulla is called. We see Chopper roaming through Yavin 4. We see the Ghost numerous times during the Battle of Scarif. So it's possible, I think, in season 2 of Andor that we could see on Yavin 4 more of the rebellion, more of the Rebels crew, and that could be one way that they tie into the Mandoverse through Andor. You know what I mean? That would be dope. Dude, trust me, bro. I would love to see some Grolix. Me too, Dale. I doubt that we will. I definitely think it will be a good episode, and it's amazing to see you in the chat, Ashhammer. Much love to you, my brother. Talented Mr. Griffin says, speaking of Rebels, how is Zeb going to look in live action? Hopefully good. I think the last rumor that I heard was that the dude that portrayed the Predator in Prey is likely going to be the same guy that portrays the live action Zeb, or does at least the mocap for it. We'll see what they end up doing, whether they do a practical Zeb or do a CGI Zeb. I don't know how it's gonna look, but cross my fingers. The cool thing with Star Wars and what they've done with their creatures, whether it's Grogu or different things like that, is they've taken practical things and used a little CGI on them to make it look as real as possible, to be honest. I think Grogu blows all of us away, you know what I mean? So hopefully they can pull off Zeb now too. It would be really cool to see that. Oh, thank you, Tim. We do have a little bit more news. There was some actually super exciting news. Before we get into it, I'm going to go through some more comments, so stay tuned, smash the like button. But we do have a little bit more news of some Star Wars movie news potentially, and a new hope that could be in the form of a director. So before we get into that though, Don says, do you think at some point we may see or hear Ezra's inspirational speech he did in the Rebel show? Could it be told in live action in Andor or another series? Possibly. I could definitely see in Andor just characters listening to it, you know what I mean? I could see in the background Andor in season 2 potentially, the beginning of it or something, here's this cry out to go, you know, fight against the Empire, and it's Ezra talking. That would be really, really cool. To your point, I don't know if we would see it in any other live action medium, so Andor is probably our best bet to get that, because they usually don't like to retell like live action and animation stories. They're sure as hell willing to retell written stories, whether it's a book or a comic, but they don't really retell too many live action things. Though they are now more willing to give us flashbacks and stuff, but I don't know. Tim says Joffrey's little brother is in the Acolyte too. Yes, that's right. That is right, dude. That's so awesome. Dude, trust me, bro says, I mean, we did see a live action Chopper rolling around on stage, so he'll be in something soon. That was for Ahsoka, actually, so we know he's going to be in Ahsoka soon. But yeah, we've seen him in Rogue One as well, so Chopper's out there. There's some real life Choppers out there. All right, let's get into this movie news, because I know Tim and myself, we can hardly contain ourselves with the excitement of this news. Let me pull it up, though. So, some good Star Wars movie news for once, and it's pretty freaking good news. The director, known as Shawn Levy, who is the director of the Adam Project on Netflix, as well as Free Guy, two really solid Ryan Reynolds movies. You know what I mean? We'll get into that in a second, but he's set to not only direct Deadpool 3, the final episodes of Stranger Things, but also now a Star Wars film. He's said to be working and in talks to direct a Star Wars film after directing Deadpool 3 and the ending of Stranger Things. I believe he's also worked on episodes 3 and 4 of every season of Stranger Things, if I'm not mistaken. The dude has some pretty freaking great work out there. And I think the fact that he's in talks, you know, to work on a Star Wars film, he's already given Ryan Reynolds a lightsaber twice. I'm all for it. I'm all for it, dude. To me, this is some fantastic news. I'm all in for Shawn Levy directing a Star Wars movie. Whenever it comes out, dude, take your time. I know he's going to be busy with Deadpool 3 and Stranger Things, obviously, but what a guy, man. What a life to be working on those 3 projects all at one time, or, you know, all within kind of a consecutive cycle of each other, you know what I mean? That's pretty freaking cool. I'll get into it though a little bit more here with the Deadline article. Let me pull this up for you guys. One second. Make sure to smash that like button again. Hopefully my computer can pull this off. Shawn Levy in talks to direct a Star Wars film. Let's get it going. So, exclusive. Deadline can reveal that Shawn Levy is in talks to come aboard to develop and direct a Star Wars film. We're trying to pry loose some details of plot and writer, But this we can tell you, Levy will focus on this one after he completes the job of directing Deadpool 3 at Marvel and Disney, the one that brings Ryan Reynolds together with Hugh Jackman in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This comes a prolific moment for Levy as he's in a post-production on the limited series All the Light We Cannot See, for which Levy directed all 4 episodes. That series is for Netflix, where he also directed the last 2 episodes of the 5th and final season of the streamer's signature series, Stranger Things. Levy's EPs through his 21 Laps banner. The Deadpool 3 deal comes after he teamed up with Reynolds on the Adam Project, as well as Free Guy. And Star Wars will be his 3rd recent big film at Disney, where he's also directed Ryan Reynolds' Free Guy, like I said. And a sequel for that is also being discussed. Levy is back in the franchise after starting there with the Night of the Museum films back in the day. So he has a big resume. The dude has done some amazing works, in my opinion. And the fact that he's worked with Ryan Reynolds in 2 different projects, giving him lightsabers in both of those projects, he's going to be with him in Deadpool 2. I mean, what are the odds this dude brings Ryan Reynolds into Star Wars? I'm just saying. I'm down for it, man. I'm super excited by this news. Where did my chat go? So let's keep it going, though. The film lines up among several spearheaded by A-list directors that Lucasfilm is developing. Others include a film. So these are the other movies that Lucasfilm is working on. A film from Taika Waititi. Rogue Squadron from Patty Jenkins is still on the list. And another from Damon Lindelof, which Deadline recently reported would be directed by Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. I hope I said that right. So obviously there's a lot of Star Wars movies that they're trying to figure out for the future of the Star Wars franchise after all of this kind of Disney Plus stuff kind of gets rolling and everything. And now that it's in the works, you know, Taika's movie is still likely a couple years away. Patty is busy, so her movie is likely a couple years away. Who knows? Maybe this Shawn Levy thing could be one of the next kind of movies that come out. So it says Lucasfilm hasn't released a Star Wars film in theaters since 2019's Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. On the TV front, Leslie Headland's series The Acolyte recently went into production, as we talked about in yesterday's stream, and with a cast that includes Amandla Stenberg and Squid Game star Lee Jung-jae. They also have a new season of The Mandalorian in the works set next year, as well as Ahsoka starring Rosario Dawson herself. So pretty freaking awesome. No comment from Disney as so far on this news, but I am thinking this is some of the best Star Wars news I've seen in a long time. I really like this dude. I can't wait to see him potentially have his own Star Wars project. I don't know, man. It seems like he really wants to after seeing Free Guy and everything, and seeing the Adam Project, him putting lightsabers in those projects as well. He seems like a great fit for the Star Wars universe. Let me know what you guys are thinking down in the chat, though, and let's head back into the lab. Good. Alright, my computer's tripping out a little bit. The other news that we got alongside this, with the fact, Shawn Levy is getting a movie now and everything, it seems as though J.D. Dillard, who was once rumored to have his Star Wars movie, it doesn't seem like that Star Wars movie is in the works anymore. That one seems like it's canned, which, seems like that's going a little under the radar. Hopefully it does. But it's okay, man. Star Wars is trying to figure it out, and I think they're starting to. They figured out kind of the TV series stuff, in my opinion, and going forward, I think the movies have a bright future, especially if you're gonna bring in guys like this with Shawn Levy and everything. I'm excited as hell for it, man. I like that guy, says Ashhammer. Me too. I think he's a great director. I really do. Tim says yes, episodes 3 and 4 of every Stranger Things series. He's in, and he has an episode on Stranger Things. Heck yeah. Tim said this dude is already in the Disney family. He just did Free Guy and is working for Marvel now. Yeah, man, he is. And I think, again, he would be a great fit for the Star Wars universe as well. It definitely sounds super promising to me. I'm excited for it, man. Tim says, "Oh damn, I think the last time we didn't have a director for the Damon Lindelof one, but I'm not sure." Yeah, I think that is news too, although I'm not going to attempt to say the name again because I'm sure I butchered it the first time. Dale says, Adewale. Oh my god. Talk about names I can't pronounce. This is... Alright, I'm gonna give it a shot here. Adewale Akanoye Agajabe. Or Agabe. What a name, man. Oh, I can't do it. The Predator from Prey. Yes, he's apparently picked as picked by nerds of color. What? Okay. Well, hey, man, I'm definitely down for that guy. Try to say that name 10 times. Never. I can't even remember names as it is. I'm just gonna remember this dude as Adewale if I even can. Thank you for being here for me, Smalls. I definitely need the emotional support. Alright, y'all. Any last questions, make sure to put them into the chat. We're going to get on Hannah here in a minute or two. But before we go, again, put in any last comments into the chat. I'm going to try to get to them. And then make sure to be there for our watch party at 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will see you guys there for that. And again, God of War Ragnarok releases in just under 3 hours, and I think we're definitely going to stream that on our second channel. Tim put it into the chat a little bit ago, so go make sure to subscribe to Sheev the Wise on YouTube and be there for our God of War stream. Much love. Tim says, gotta keep in mind Disney only announced 2 movies officially, so everything else is still developing. Some things might or might not happen. You're definitely right, man. And one of the cool things that Lucasfilm has done, as even though, you know, a lot of fans like to complain, oh, they cancel projects all the time. Well, the thing is, a lot of their projects are kind of under wraps or a little bit secret, and they try to do that on purpose. So things pop up out of nowhere sometimes, like we did with Tales of the Jedi. That literally, we did not find out about that until Star Wars Celebration this year. We also get things that kind of fly under the radar, whether it's Acolyte and different things. So, you know, now Acolyte's starting to ramp up because in production and whatnot. But there's a lot of Star Wars projects in the works, a lot of different things that we might even not know about. Skeleton Crew, for example, was under wraps and kind of really secretive for months on end. So I think there are more projects that they're at least early stages of development, and a lot of cool stuff is coming with it. Watching some gameplay as I type this, says Talented Mr. Griven. Dude, I'm hyped for Ragnarok, man. I don't know if people are like playing it yet, but 3 hours, little under 3 hours for me, man. Latest to you, Dale. Much love. Watching some, read that one. Dawn says, I won't be in the live stream. My old self gonna be sleeping. I hope you get some sleep, Dawn. Much love to you. No worries. Ragnarok, let's go. I'm definitely hyped. I'm hyped, Smalls. Alright, peace to you, dude. Trust me, bro. I hope you guys have a fantastic night. We're gonna get on out of here. I appreciate all you guys, though. Thank you guys for being in the stream. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out our socials. Go check out our second channel. I'm gonna pin it to the chat as Tim just put it into the chat a little bit ago. And thank you guys again. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your nights. And may the force be with you guys always. Peace. Yes, join the Vedas led Discord today. Tim, the GOAT himself, just threw it into the chat. Go check it out. And I'll see you guys for Andor episode 10 later. Let's go!